In a world that shouts for attention, true power belongs to those who choose silence. While many drown in overthinking and empty words, the Stoic watches, listens, and acts with precision. Today you'll discover two virtues that shape an unshakable mind: calm in the face of chaos, and total focus on what truly matters. Thinking less, speaking less, and focusing more isn't about doing less. It's about doing what matters, flawlessly. And staying calm, that's how success finds you. Take a deep breath. Silence the noise. Your Stoic transformation begins now. Have you ever noticed how much energy you waste on pointless worries, empty conversations, and distractions that lead nowhere? The world we live in pressures us to react quickly, to have an opinion on everything, and to fill every silence with words that serve no real purpose. But what if you chose a different path? What if you stopped worrying about things outside your control, only spoke when you truly had something meaningful to say, and directed your energy toward what actually makes a difference? True strength isn't about doing more, it's about doing better. Today, we're going to talk about how to eliminate mental noise, how to communicate with intention, and how to focus your attention on what truly drives your life forward. If you can master these three principles, you won't just see changes, you'll feel a real transformation happening inside you. And to mark this moment, I want you to write in the comments, "Today I move forward with the strength of a Stoic." This isn't just a phrase, it's a commitment, a reminder of the power that lives within you. The more you repeat it, the stronger this idea becomes in your mind. Because the words you choose for yourself have the power to shape your reality. Now it's up to you. Take this idea into your mind and, more importantly, put it into action. Let's begin. Number 1. Thoughts are just thoughts, not facts. Have you ever noticed how real thoughts can feel? So real that we end up believing them without question? We get swept away by them, treat them as absolute truths, and without realizing it, we become trapped in a storm of emotions. A single negative thought, for example, can spark anxiety and make us believe the worst-case scenario is unavoidable. But what if it's not? What if thoughts are just that, passing events in the mind, like clouds moving across the sky? They are not absolute truths. They are merely momentary interpretations. This phenomenon is called cognitive fusion, when we identify so strongly with our thoughts that we start to believe they define who we are. If we think, "I'm a failure," we instantly feel like it's true. If the idea, "I'll never make it," comes up, we act like it's a guaranteed outcome. But here's the truth. Thoughts are not facts. They are just mental events, often influenced by fleeting emotions, past experiences, or unconscious associations. What we think doesn't always reflect reality, and the Stoics knew this. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations that it's not the events themselves that affect us, but rather the interpretation we give them. Suffering doesn't come from the outside world. It comes from the story we tell ourselves about what happens. A thought by itself holds no power. We are the ones who choose whether or not to give it importance. The Stoics practice the separation between what is within our control and what is not. And here's a crucial point. Thoughts arise spontaneously, but we can observe them without getting swept away. So how do we apply this in real life? Recognize your thoughts without identifying with them. Instead of saying, "This is true," say to yourself, "Look at that. This thought came up again." Think of them as clouds passing by. They're not permanent. They're not you. Question your thoughts. Ask yourself, is this really true? Do I have concrete evidence? Or is it just an assumption? Does this thought help me? Or does it only make me feel worse? Creating this distance reduces the power of your reactive mind. Tame your thoughts. Instead of saying, "I'm a failure," reframe it as, "I'm having the thought that I'm a failure." It may seem like a small detail, but that change weakens the grip those thoughts have on you. Remember, thoughts don't require immediate action. Just because your mind says, "I'm not good enough," doesn't mean you have to believe it or act on it. Let it pass. Imagine you're at a train station and your thoughts are the trains going by. Some are calm, others uncomfortable or even frightening. But you don't have to get on any of them. You can simply watch them and let them go. And mindfulness is a powerful ally in this. Paying attention to your breath, staying present in the moment, and noticing your thoughts come and go without clinging to them is a powerful exercise. Over time, you'll develop the ability to choose which thoughts to focus on and which to ignore. In the end, the greatest lesson is this: you are not your mind. Thoughts appear, but they don't control you, unless you let them. When you understand this, anxiety lessens, overthinking loses its grip, and you begin to feel freer. You don't have to believe everything you think. You have a choice, and that is one of the greatest freedoms we can ever gain. 2. The strength of those who don't need to prove anything. Talking is easy. The world we live in has taught us that the louder you speak, the more power you have. That quick response is equal intelligence. That silence is weakness. But what if all of that was wrong? What if true power lies in what you choose not to say? Arthur Schopenhauer understood this well. Many times, the greatest wisdom is in silence, in the strength not to react impulsively, in the patience to listen without the urge to speak, in the discipline to control your ego when every part of you wants to respond. The problem is, most people don't listen to understand. They listen to reply. While someone is talking, they're already preparing their next argument. Silence, on the other hand, lets you see beyond words. It gives you a chance to notice hidden intentions, masked emotions, and even the insecurities behind someone's speech. But silence is not passivity. It doesn't mean submission or weakness. Used wisely, silence is a powerful tool that can bring clarity and control in situations where others get lost in chaos and impulse. In a conflict, the one who stays calm has the advantage. In the face of provocation, the one who doesn't react right away holds the power. In a world where everyone wants to speak at the same time, the one who knows when to stay silent stands out. The Stoics knew this centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the soul grows stronger when it remains calm in the midst of the world's noise. Not everything needs a response. Not every attack deserves a defense. Not every situation calls for an explanation. Sometimes silence speaks louder than any word. Many battles are not won through speeches, but through the absence of them. When you don't react to what doesn't deserve your energy, you let the noise consume itself. When you choose to observe instead of rushing to speak, you begin to see what others overlook. And when you learn to feel comfortable in silence, you discover you never had to prove anything to anyone. The greatest challenge isn't speaking well. It's knowing when not to speak. In a world that's constantly shouting, the one who chooses silence is the one who holds the power. So before filling the next moment of silence with unnecessary words, pause and ask yourself, does this really need to be said, or is silence already saying everything? 3. Where is your attention focused? That was the question asked by Cicero's mentor, and it was enough to completely shift his worldview. Until that moment, like most people, he spent much of his time analyzing what was happening around him: politics, the economy, other people's luck, and external circumstances. But then he realized something essential. As long as his attention was turned outward, his own life wouldn't change. Real progress never comes when your focus is external. It happens when you decide to look inward and start working on what's truly under your control. It's easy to fall into the trap of blaming the world for your difficulties. To think that if the conditions were different, if we had more resources, if the people around us were more understanding, then we'd be able to move forward. But the truth is, the conditions will never be perfect. There will always be challenges. There will always be something working against you. If you're waiting for the world to align in your favor so your life can improve, you'll spend your life waiting. Real change starts within you. It doesn't matter how many opportunities are out there if you're not prepared to take advantage of them. It doesn't matter how much status you have if you're not able to offer something of real value. And it doesn't matter how often you complain about the world's injustice if you're not taking action to improve your own situation. The difference between those who grow and those who remain stuck is not in their circumstances, but in how each person chooses to face them. When you focus on yourself, everything around you loses its power to control you. You stop worrying about who has more advantages because you understand that this does not define your destiny. You stop comparing yourself to others because you realize that your only true point of reference is yourself. You stop wasting energy on complaints and start investing that energy in what truly matters, your growth. Stoicism teaches exactly this. Focus on what you can control and let go of what's beyond your reach. Marcus Aurelius said that our happiness and well-being depend on the quality of our thoughts, not on what happens around us. You can't control other people's choices, but you can choose how you respond to them. You can't change the past or predict the future, but you can decide what you do in the present. You can't avoid life's challenges, but you can prepare to face them with strength and calm. So the question that really matters is, what are you investing your time in? How many hours of your day are truly dedicated to improving your skills, strengthening your mind, caring for your body, and building something meaningful? Or are you spending your energy on distractions, comparisons, and empty complaints? Because the truth is simple. Every minute you spend watching someone else's life is a minute lost building your own. Read more. Learn something new every day. Take care of your body. Build discipline. Work on projects that move you closer to your goals. Stop wasting energy on things that don't add value. You don't need other people's approval to grow. You don't need perfect conditions to begin. All you need is to decide to invest in yourself and keep moving forward, no matter the obstacles. Because when you shift your focus, your life begins to change. Instead of worrying about what others have, you start building what's yours. Instead of complaining about difficulties, you ask what you can do to improve. Instead of waiting for the world to give you something, you start creating your own path. And when that happens, you realize something powerful. The power was always in your hands. It always was. You just needed to change your perspective. 4. The power of focusing on what makes you grow. When the mind gets stuck on thoughts about someone, it's easy to fall into a cycle of memories, emotions, and assumptions. But here's the truth. What you feed your mind grows. If you keep reinforcing these thoughts, they become harder and harder to control. But if you decide to redirect your attention to something bigger, something that truly drives you forward, bit by bit, these thoughts will lose their power. This doesn't mean ignoring what you feel, but it's about training your mind not to get stuck in a cycle that leads nowhere. Every time you notice your mind wandering to where it shouldn't, stop. Don't criticize yourself. Don't feel bad about it. Just observe and consciously change direction. Instead of diving into the past, ask yourself, how can I use this energy to move closer to my goals? That's the key. The same energy you waste on useless thoughts could be used to build something, to grow, to move forward. At first, it might seem difficult, almost impossible. The brain is used to following the same paths, the same patterns. But neuroscience proves that the mind is flexible. And with repetition and practice, you can reprogram your thoughts and create new mental pathways. What once held you back will, over time, lose its power over you. It's not about repressing emotions. It's about reframing how you deal with them. Don't see this as a battle against your mind, but as a process of re-education. When you notice you're getting off track, bring your attention back. Not just once, but every time it happens. It won't always be easy. There will be days when it feels natural and others when it's a challenge. But consistency changes everything. Stoicism teaches that we can't control what happens around us, but we can control how we react. If you keep allowing your mind to get lost in distractions and unproductive thoughts, you'll never have mental freedom. But with discipline and practice, that freedom is achievable. Epictetus said that it's not things that disturb us, but the interpretation we give to them. If you see your situation as a problem, it will be an obstacle. But if you decide to see it as an opportunity to grow, that same circumstance becomes a stepping stone to something greater. That's why you need to make reorientation a habit. It's not enough to try once or twice. It's a commitment to yourself. Set your goals. Write them down. Every time your mind starts to wander, take a concrete action to get closer to them. Read something that adds value. Practice a skill. Visualize yourself achieving what you want. The important thing is to teach your mind that there is a better way. And over time, you'll notice something powerful. Not only will these thoughts lose their power, but you'll begin to feel a real sense of control over your life. The feeling of building something, of having mastery over yourself, is infinitely more satisfying than any memory of the past. So commit. Train your mind to focus on what truly matters. Stop wasting time on what doesn't add value. Use every thought as an opportunity to grow, because in the end, the direction of your life is defined by where you choose to focus your attention. 5. The art of accepting and moving forward. Life will never be a predictable path. It doesn't bend to our desires, nor does it guarantee that everything will go as planned. At some point, we all face challenges, losses, and uncertainties. But what truly makes us suffer is not the events themselves, it's our resistance to them. We spend so much time stuck on "this shouldn't have happened" or "what if things had been different," that we forget to deal with what truly matters, the now. The problem is not what happens, but how we react to it. Accepting reality doesn't mean giving up, far from it. It means stopping the waste of energy fighting the inevitable. Pain is part of the process. The unexpected is part of the game. Life won't wait for us to be ready, nor will it protect us from failures or frustrations. But we can choose how we face each situation, and that choice defines everything. True strength is not in avoiding pain, but in moving forward despite it. Resilience is not just about enduring the weight of difficulties, but learning from every hit, growing with each fall, and turning obstacles into fuel to move forward. You can cling to what you lost, or use that loss as a springboard for a new path. You can mourn what didn't work out, or use the experience to avoid repeating the same mistakes. You can live frustrated with what you can't change, or accept and adapt in the best way possible. The Stoics understood this truth centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If something external hurts you, the pain does not come from the event itself, but from your interpretation of it." In other words, what hurts you is not what happens, but the story you tell yourself about what happened. And that story, you can rewrite. You can't control many things in life. You can't avoid all difficulties. You can't change the past. But you can decide what to do with all of it. So instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" Life is not made up only of good moments, but you are capable of facing any difficult moment. And in the end, it will not be the absence of problems that defines your strength, but how you chose to overcome them. 6. Stop seeking approval from others. Have you noticed how much time and energy you waste trying to control how others see you? Maybe without even realizing it. You measure your words to avoid judgment, adjust your behavior to be accepted, or hide parts of who you really are to avoid displeasing others. But no matter how hard you try, you will never have control over other people's perceptions. Each person views the world through their own experiences, insecurities, and beliefs. You can act with the best intentions and still be criticized, misunderstood, or underestimated. And if your happiness depends on others' approval, you will never be free. The search for approval is a trap. At first, it seems harmless. You want to be liked, respected, recognized. But over time, this need becomes a prison. You force yourself to meet expectations that aren't even yours. You live based on what others think and lose your authenticity in the process. And the most ironic thing is, even if you manage to please everyone, it will never be enough. There will always be someone who disagrees with you, who doesn't understand your worth, or who simply doesn't like who you are. So why keep trying to control the uncontrollable? The Stoics taught this truth centuries ago. We cannot control others' opinions, but we can control how we react to them. Epictetus said that worrying about what others think is a form of slavery, because it places our worth in the hands of others. True freedom comes when you stop seeking external validation and start living according to what truly matters to you, your values, your choices, your own path. Think about how many times you've held back from saying something because of fear of others' reactions. How many times have you pretended to agree just to avoid conflict? How many times have you suppressed your desires so as not to disappoint anyone? But the real question is, until when? If you continue living to be accepted by others, you'll never be accepted by yourself. Free yourself from that need. Be who you truly are, without asking for permission. Because in the end, the only approval that really matters is yours. 7. Silence as a path to clarity and purpose. The world never falls silent. From the moment we wake up until the time we go to sleep, we are surrounded by noise, constant information, constant notifications, other people's opinions. Every time a pause appears, we quickly fill it with screens, shallow conversations, distractions, keeping us away from what truly matters, ourselves. But if we never make space for silence, how can we know what we really want? How can we hear our own voice if we're always busy listening to others? Silence is not a void. It is a space where the mind can breathe, where new ideas can emerge, where the answers we've been searching for finally appear. It is in the quiet that we can ask ourselves, am I living according to what I really want? Or am I just reacting to others' expectations? Without noise, without distractions, just you and your thoughts. And that's exactly what scares so many people. Silence forces us to face doubts and questions we prefer to ignore. It confronts us with our insecurities, our contradictions, our truths. But instead of fearing it, we should see it as a powerful tool, because it is in silence that we find what truly makes sense to us. Maybe you're pursuing a goal that was never truly yours. Maybe you're following a path just because someone told you it was the right one. Maybe you're living on autopilot, never stopping to reflect if this is really the life you want. But when you allow yourself to be in silence, you begin to see everything with more clarity. The Stoics understood this well. Seneca said that from time to time, we must withdraw from the world's noise to reflect on our own life. This doesn't mean distancing yourself from everything permanently, but creating moments to ask yourself if you're living with intention or just going with the flow. If we don't take these pauses, we run the risk of spending years chasing things that, in the end, don't fulfill us. The truth is, the answers we're searching for are not outside, but within us. You don't need others' approval to know what is right. You don't need someone to validate your decisions. What you need is to learn to listen to yourself, and that only happens when you create space for reflection. It doesn't have to be a formal meditation or a retreat in nature. It can be something simple. Turn off your phone for a few minutes. Step away from the noise. Be in silence with yourself. And then ask yourself, am I where I want to be? Am I heading in the right direction? Are my decisions aligned with what truly matters to me? The answers won't come immediately, but over time they will emerge. And when they do, trust them. Introspection is where you find direction. And when you learn to connect with silence, you discover that silence is not the absence of something. It is the presence of everything that truly matters. 8. The silence that heals. We live in a constant state of escape. We fill every minute of our day with distractions, music, social media, meaningless conversations. Not because we enjoy the noise, but because we fear what might arise in the silence. Because silence forces us to face what we avoid. The pain we ignore doesn't disappear. It hides, transforms into tension in the body, into insomnia, into impulsive decisions. It makes us relive the past, or worry about a future that hasn't even arrived yet. And if we never give ourselves the space to listen to what we carry inside, how can we heal? Silence may seem uncomfortable at first. It brings to the surface emotions we've tried to suppress, thoughts we've avoided. But what if, instead of running away, we simply stop to listen, without distractions, without trying to fix everything immediately? Just feeling. Healing happens when we stop resisting. It's not about erasing the pain, but giving it a place to exist without fear. It doesn't mean suffering more. It means suffering with awareness. The Stoics taught that it's not what happens that causes us suffering, but how we deal with it. Marcus Aurelius wrote that pain only harms us when we let it dominate us internally. What happens if, instead of fighting what's already past, we simply accept what is present? What if we look at our wounds as something to understand, not as a burden to carry forever? Silence is the space where this understanding arises. Without the interference of external noise, we can ask ourselves, why is this pain still here? What can I learn from this? How can I move forward without carrying this weight? And most of the time, the answer doesn't come from thought. It comes from acceptance itself. You don't need to disappear from the world to experience this healing. Small moments of silence throughout the day can already be a new beginning. 5 minutes without distractions can bring more clarity than hours of frustrated attempts to forget what hurts. When you allow silence to fill the spaces, something changes. What seemed unbearable starts to lose its power. What seemed confusing begins to organize itself. What felt like endless suffering transforms into learning. Healing doesn't happen in an instant, but every time you choose to stop and feel, you're one step closer to liberation. Silence is not absence, It is presence. It's where you can finally begin to rebuild yourself. 9. Quiet the stress. Peace is in the stillness. Stress infiltrates every corner of our lives. It's present in the body, the mind, and the decisions we make when we're exhausted. We get used to living in a constant state of alertness, with racing thoughts, a pressure that never fully disappears. But stress doesn't only come from what's happening around us. It mainly arises from our inability to take pauses. We live surrounded by noise, notifications, demands, and worries, keeping us tense all the time. We barely open our eyes in the morning, and already we're checking messages, planning the day, anticipating problems before they even arise. And in the midst of all this, we forget what's essential. Silence is not a luxury. It's a necessity. Studies show that moments of stillness reduce cortisol levels, the stress hormone. The simple act of being in an environment without noise, without distractions, allows the nervous system to slow down, the breath to deepen, and the body to escape the constant state of tension. It's like giving the mind a rest after hours of nonstop running. When you allow yourself to be silent, even for a few minutes, something changes. The thoughts stop racing over each other. The mind stops reacting impulsively to every stimulus. That tightness in your chest begins to lessen. It's a mental reset, a pause that helps you see things more clearly. What once seemed overwhelming loses its intensity. What seemed urgent may not even be that important after all. Silence brings perspective. It gives you back control over your mind. The Stoics taught that most of our worries don't come from the events themselves, but from the way we interpret them. Marcus Aurelius wrote that if something external disturbs you, the pain doesn't come from the event itself, but from your perception of it. In silence, you can observe your thoughts without being dominated by them. You can notice when you're exaggerating a problem. You can see when a situation is taking more of your balance than it should. And in this observation, you find freedom. Don't wait until you're completely drained to seek silence. Make it a daily habit, little by little. 5 minutes without speaking, without music, without distractions. A moment of stillness in the morning before starting your day. A breath before bed. A pause in the middle of the day just to close your eyes and disconnect. This isn't wasting time. It's giving your mind what it needs to stay strong. Stress doesn't disappear with more noise, with more distractions. It dissolves when you learn to find peace and stillness, when you stop filling every second with unnecessary stimuli and allow yourself to simply be. Because in silence, you don't just rest. You reconnect with yourself, and that is the best answer to the chaos of life. 10. Speak less, say more. Words are like arrows. Once released, they cannot be retrieved. Yet we often speak without thinking, as if silence were an enemy to be avoided. The reality, however, is different. Silence is a powerful ally. Those who know how to use it have time to reflect, to measure their words, and to avoid saying something that cannot be undone. Often what is left unsaid has more impact than a sea of words thrown into the wind. Mastering the pause in communication. How many times have we spoken impulsively and then felt the weight of our words? A hasty comment, an unsolicited opinion, an unnecessary phrase. All of these can come back to haunt us. It's not about avoiding speech, but about learning to speak with intention. Saying less doesn't mean saying little. It means choosing better what we say. Well-chosen words have a weight that no excess of talk can match. Stoicism teaches that self-control includes control over our words. Epictetus said we have 2 ears and only 1 mouth, because we should listen more than we speak. A wise person is not the one who says everything they think, but the one who thinks before they speak. An excess of words dilutes their power. When someone speaks non-stop, people stop listening. But when someone chooses their words carefully, each one carries more impact. The people who truly inspire are not those who fill the air with empty phrases, but those who know when to speak and when to be silent. Silence gives us time to think. It allows us to observe the situation, understand our emotions, and respond with wisdom instead of reacting impulsively. A well-timed pause can convey more authority than a whole speech. Not every moment needs to be filled with words. Sometimes silence is the most powerful response. In the right moments, speaking less means speaking better. In an argument, silence can prevent unnecessary conflict. In a speech, a pause can capture the audience's attention. In a meaningful conversation, a moment of reflection can give more weight to words. Knowing when to speak and when to be silent is a skill that transforms how we communicate. Learning to choose our words is a process. It doesn't mean repressing our voice, but using it with wisdom. Before speaking, ask yourself, is this necessary? Is it useful? Is it true? If the answer is no, perhaps silence is the best choice. A word spoken without thought can destroy relationships, cause misunderstandings, or harm a reputation. On the other hand, a well-chosen word can inspire, heal, and strengthen bonds. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, true power lies with those who know how to listen. It's not about speaking louder, but about speaking better. If our words are few but meaningful, they will have much more impact. If we speak with purpose and not habit, people will truly listen. You don't need to prove what you know with an endless flow of words. The true sign of wisdom is having self-control, even in how we express ourselves. So the next time you feel the impulse to speak without thinking, remember, silence is also an option. Speaking less and thinking more is a sign of intelligence, maturity, and control, because true strength is not in speaking non-stop. It's in knowing when it's truly worth speaking. 11. Progress, not perfection, the power of moving forward. Perfection is a myth. We've been led to believe that it's the standard to be reached, the ultimate goal, the proof that we are good enough. But in reality, perfection is a horizon that can never be reached. Every time you think you're close, it moves further away. No matter how hard you try, there will always be something to improve, something that could have been done differently, a feeling that you're still not ready. And that's the trap. If you wait to be perfect to take action, you'll never do anything. What truly matters is not perfection, but progress. Growing a little bit every day holds far more value than chasing an unattainable ideal. Think about it. What makes the difference in someone's life? Those who keep moving forward despite failures, or those who stay paralyzed waiting for the perfect moment? The answer is clear. Those who learn from mistakes, who keep going despite difficulties, who choose to improve instead of just planning, these are the ones who truly achieve something. Stoicism teaches us that absolute control is an illusion. You cannot control every detail of the external world. Marcus Aurelius said that what truly belongs to us are our thoughts, our actions, and our attitude. You can't guarantee perfection, but you can guarantee effort, and that is the true power. The search for perfection generates doubt, insecurity, and frustration, while progress brings freedom. When you understand that you don't need to be flawless, you begin to see value in every small step forward. You stop punishing yourself for mistakes and start learning from them. You stop comparing yourself to others and start measuring your growth based on who you were yesterday. This is the mindset that really takes you far. No journey has a perfect endpoint. The true goal is not to arrive flawless at the end, but to evolve continuously along the way. If you look back, you'll see that many of the things you now master started as great challenges. The first time you tried something, you made mistakes, hesitated, stumbled, but you kept going. If you had waited to be perfect from the start, you would have never begun. This applies to everything: learning a skill, starting a project, transforming your life. Imperfect action is always more valuable than paralysis by the fear of failure. The fear of imperfection stops us from speaking because we're afraid of saying something wrong. It stops us from creating because we fear criticism. It stops us from trying because we believe we're not good enough yet. But no one becomes excellent overnight. Every skill, every achievement, every great transformation comes from small daily advances. Think of someone who wants to write a book but never starts because they think their words aren't perfect. Or someone who wants to train but doesn't start because they don't have the ideal routine. Or someone who wants to learn a language but never speaks because they're afraid of making mistakes. They're all trapped in the same cycle, waiting for the perfect moment, while the opportunity to grow passes them by. Life is not about doing things perfectly, it's about doing them consistently. What really matters is not arriving at the destination without flaws, but walking every day, learning and improving along the way. Every mistake teaches you something. Every attempt gives you more experience. So stop demanding perfection from yourself and start demanding movement. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Value what you've learned instead of focusing on what's still missing. Every step you take is a victory. Every effort is proof that you're still moving forward. Don't let the fear of making mistakes stop you from acting. You don't need to be perfect to start. You just need the courage to take the first step and the commitment to keep moving forward. Because true greatness is not about being flawless, it's about being relentless. 12. Look at yourself and reflect. No excuses, no justifications, no comforting stories to ease your conscience for a moment. Be brutally honest with yourself. Are you really where you wanted to be? If the answer is no, ask yourself, what part of this is my responsibility? It's easy to blame destiny, circumstances, or the people around you. But what if instead of looking outward, you began to look inward? Because that's where real progress begins. This doesn't mean punishing yourself, drowning in guilt, or seeing yourself as a failure. It means having the courage to recognize what's not working and deciding to do something about it. Because if you don't do it, no one else will. Being honest with yourself hurts. It means accepting that maybe you haven't tried hard enough, that you let opportunities slip by, that you settled for less than you are capable of achieving, that you allowed your fears, laziness, or excuses to dictate your life. But that pain is necessary, because only when we accept reality without illusions can we begin to change it. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control everything that happens around us, but we can control how we react to it. Epictetus said that it's not the circumstances that make us suffer, but the way we interpret them. If you see your life as a collection of injustices that held you back, you'll stay stuck in them. But if you see each moment as a choice that can be changed, you reclaim the power over your own life. The key is not blame, it's responsibility. So ask yourself, what aspects of my life are holding me back? What habits, thoughts, or attitudes keep me stuck in the same place? Maybe you complain about the lack of time, but spend hours on pointless distractions. Maybe you say you want to change, but avoid anything that takes you out of your comfort zone. Maybe you dream of a better future, but keep repeating the same mistakes. If you want to move forward, stop fooling yourself. You can't change what you refuse to see. If your relationships are full of conflict, maybe the problem isn't always the other person. If you feel like you never achieve your goals, maybe you haven't been as consistent as you think. If you lack motivation, maybe you haven't found a real purpose yet. Look at yourself honestly and ask without fear, what in my life is under my responsibility to change? But being honest with yourself doesn't just mean recognizing your failures. It also means seeing your strengths, identifying what you're good at, recognizing what you've already achieved, and realizing what resources you already have to keep growing. You are not a failure. You're not doomed to stay the same. You have the ability, you have a choice, you have the power. But none of that matters if you don't have the courage to face the truth and act. Reflecting without acting changes nothing. It's no use realizing what's wrong if you don't do anything to change it. You don't have to solve everything at once, but you do need to take the first step. Maybe it's abandoning a habit that harms you. Maybe it's starting to learn something new. Maybe it's distancing yourself from people who just hold you back. Whatever it is, start. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for everything to be clear before acting. Clarity comes with movement. Confidence comes from small victories. Personal transformation is not an event, it's a process. And this process begins when you have the courage to look at yourself in the mirror and speak the truth. So stop waiting for your life to change on its own. It won't. Life doesn't improve because it's supposed to. Life improves when you decide to improve it. Be honest with yourself, identify what's not working, and have the courage to change, because in the end, the only person who can transform your life is you. 13. What sustains a strong life? Your mind is the soil where your reality grows. If you fill it with doubt, fear, and negativity, that's what you'll harvest. But if you plant thoughts of growth, learning, and self-discipline, your life will take a different direction. What you mentally consume defines how you see the world and how you react to it. What are you reading? What kind of conversations are you having? Where are you directing your attention every day? The mind is like a muscle. If you exercise it with useful knowledge, questioning, and inspiration, it strengthens. But if you neglect it, it weakens, and you end up stuck in automatic thought cycles that lead nowhere. Your body is the vehicle that will take you where you want to go. You may have big dreams, but if your energy is low, if you're always tired, if you neglect your health, the price will be paid sooner or later. Success requires vitality. You can't give your best if you eat poorly, if you never exercise, if you ignore the importance of rest. It's not about aesthetics, it's about functionality. A strong body supports a strong mind. The discipline you apply to your body reflects in all areas of your life. Are you taking care of the engine that will drive you forward, or are you wearing it down with habits that only weaken you? Your relationships are a reflection of who you are. It's not about how many people are around you, but the quality of those connections. Surrounding yourself with people who challenge you, inspire you to grow, and encourage you to step out of your comfort zone is essential. But more importantly, it's about becoming that person for others. If your relationships are full of conflict, or if you feel that the people around you drag you down, ask yourself, what am I projecting? Relationships don't improve when we demand more from others, but when we demand more from ourselves. If you want respect, be a respectable person. If you want loyalty, be someone others can trust. If you want support, learn to give without expecting anything in return. The quality of your relationships is a direct reflection of the person you've become. Money is not everything, but the lack of it can make everything harder. Your financial habits determine your economic future. If you spend recklessly, don't learn to manage money, or never invest in your education, you'll always be chasing money instead of making it work for you. It's not just how much you earn, but how you handle what you have. Do you save or spend impulsively? Do you educate yourself financially or repeat the same mistakes? True freedom isn't having more money, it's knowing how to manage it. Learn about investments, eliminate unnecessary debt, and develop the skill of generating income strategically. It's not about working more, but working smarter. Stoicism teaches us that true success is not found in the external, but in the internal. Seneca said that a poor person is not one who has little, but one who desires more than they truly need. Balance is essential. If you have a strong mind but a weak body, you'll lack energy. If you have good health but toxic relationships, stress will destroy you. If you have good relationships but financial problems, the pressure will consume you. All areas are connected. If you neglect one, all others will be affected. Look at your life honestly and ask yourself, what am I neglecting? Where do I need to improve? It doesn't have to be solved all at once, but you need to start somewhere. Maybe it's time to strengthen your mental discipline. Maybe it's time to take better care of your health. Maybe you need to surround yourself with people who elevate you. Or maybe it's time to learn how to manage money better. The important thing is not to delay anymore. Success isn't about perfection. It's about continuous progress. Every day you have the chance to strengthen these pillars. What matters is not where you are now, but where you're heading. Life is a building process, and every choice you make is another brick in the foundation of your success. Make sure you're building on a solid base. 14. Stop going in circles. Have a plan for your growth. If you don't have a plan, you're drifting. No matter how much you want to change, if you don't know exactly where you're going, any path will seem right, and you'll waste time on things that lead nowhere. The difference between those who move forward and those who stay stuck isn't in talent, luck, or intelligence. The difference is in clarity. What do you want to achieve? How do you plan to get there? What are the concrete steps to reach that goal? Without clear answers, you're not building, you're just dreaming. Vague goals don't work. I want to improve. Improve what? I want to be successful. What does that mean to you? I want to be fit. To what level do you want to reach? If your goals are ambiguous, your effort will be too. Define numbers, define deadlines, define specific actions. If your goal is financial independence, how much money do you need to earn? How will you generate that income? What can you start doing today to get closer to that? If your goal is to improve your health, what habits do you need to change right now? Without a plan, your goals are just wishes in the air. And it's not enough to write down goals, you need a system. Most people set resolutions at the beginning of the year and forget about them in a few weeks. Why? Because they never turn them into habits. Success doesn't come from big leaps, but from small habits repeated every day. If you want to expand your mind, what are you reading daily? If you want a stronger body, how are you eating and exercising? Professionally, what skills are you developing right now? Stoicism teaches that we don't control everything around us, but we control our actions. Epictetus said that what matters is not the circumstances, but how we respond to them. Maybe you have more obstacles than others. Maybe you have fewer opportunities. Maybe you're starting from scratch. But the question is, what are you doing with what you have? A solid plan keeps you on track, even when things don't go as expected. Make a list of your goals for the next 5 years, but be realistic. Don't just think about what you'd like to have, but about what you're willing to work for. Now break those goals down into smaller objectives. If you want to learn a language in 5 years, what can you do this year to make progress? If you want financial stability, what changes can you make this month to better manage your money? Big transformations are the result of small daily choices. It's not enough to create a plan and forget about it. Track your progress. If you notice you're not moving forward, adjust your strategy. Don't get frustrated if things don't go as planned. The plan is not rigid, it's a compass. What's important is not to follow the plan to the letter, but not to lose direction. The difference between those who achieve their goals and those who don't is not in desire, intention, or motivation. It's in action. Being inspired is easy. Writing big goals is too. But inspiration fades quickly. What makes you move forward is not the excitement of the moment, it's the discipline to act even when you don't feel like it. If you really want to change, you need a commitment to yourself. No one will hand you a perfect plan. No one will motivate you every day. It's you who needs to get up and take the next step, even if it's small, even if it seems insignificant, even if the results aren't visible yet. So ask yourself now, what did I do today to get closer to the life I want to have in 5 years? If the answer is nothing, then it's time to change. Stop waiting for the right moment. It doesn't exist. The best way to predict your future is to build it day by day. 15. Small actions create big changes. The quality of your life is not defined by the big moments, but by what you do every day. It's not the promises you make for the future, nor the dreams you keep in your mind. What truly shapes your destiny are the small actions you repeat constantly, the habits you practice when no one is watching, the automatic decisions you make without realizing, the way you organize your mornings, afternoons, and nights. This is what determines your success or failure. It's not about waiting for giant opportunities. It's about turning the ordinary into something extraordinary. The difference between those who grow and those who stay stuck is not in luck or opportunities. It's in how each person handles the day-to-day. No one becomes successful overnight. Big changes are built with small daily improvements. It might seem insignificant to do 10 minutes of exercise, read a few pages before bed, wake up and go to sleep at the same time. But these small actions accumulated over time make a huge difference. Stoicism teaches us that discipline should be practiced not only in big challenges, but also in the small habits of daily life. Seneca said that life is like a play. It doesn't matter how long it lasts, but how we perform it. And the way we perform our lives is directly linked to our routines. You cannot expect a great destiny if you don't take care of the small habits that lead to it. So, look at your day. How do you start your morning? Do you wake up with energy or start the day with laziness? Do you take control of your time or do you let inertia take over? Do you eat well or always choose the easiest and quickest option? Every detail matters. Every daily choice either brings you closer to your goal or pushes you further away. If you improve your daily routine, you improve your life. You don't need to change everything at once, just improve a little every day. Maybe it's eating more balanced meals. Maybe it's starting to move more. Maybe it's stopping the waste of time on distractions that don't add value. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be a little better than yesterday. The key is consistency. It's no use making a huge effort for one single day and then giving up. True progress comes from small daily improvements. The person you are today is the result of the choices you've made over the past months and years. And the person you'll be tomorrow depends on what you decide to do from now on. Don't underestimate the power of small changes. A 5-minute habit can transform your life. A simple change in diet can improve your health in the long run. Choosing to get up with intention instead of laziness can set the energy for your entire day. So ask yourself now, what routine can I improve? What small adjustment can I make to make my life more productive? And don't wait for the perfect moment. Start today. Improve what can be improved and turn it into part of your lifestyle. Because in the end, it's the small daily actions that build an extraordinary life. I truly hope this message has been helpful. I sincerely congratulate you for making it this far and completing the video. That means you want to improve as a person. Imagine living with total clarity and control over your emotions, untouched by life's uncertainties, guided instead by a calm and focused mind. Today, we're going to explore valuable insights to help you manifest your desire for inner peace. Because when your mind is at peace, your actions become precise and your desires inevitable. Soon after, we'll dive into 10 transformative lessons from Stoicism, powerful principles that can truly change your life and be applied in everyday situations to help you achieve your goals with discipline and purpose. Before we begin, go to the comments and write, "Today begins my best version. I am a Stoic." Open your mind, absorb every word, and let this wisdom guide you. The moment is now. Let's begin. Have you ever noticed that the more you try to control every aspect of your life, the more out of control everything seems to become? It's ironic. We live rushing from one task to the next, trying to tighten every screw when in reality what we should do is relax. Yes, it may sound contradictory, but that's the trick. The real power to manifest what you desire doesn't come from constant struggle, but from allowing yourself to remain calm, like a serene lake. In today's video, I'll show you how Stoic philosophy makes this clear. In serenity lies strength. That's why I'll share with you 10 valuable lessons to manifest what you desire, starting from a calm and focused mind. Don't miss the last one. It'll leave you speechless. It's a key in this chaotic, disorganized world where, no matter how hard we fight, we often lack time and energy, even while carrying life's burdens. So why not give it a try? Then tell me what you discover. Breathe, let go of the chaos, and allow life to flow. Have you ever seen a stressed person living life the right way? I doubt it. If you really pay attention to what follows, you'll see how, without that much effort, you'll start attracting what you deeply crave. The first step is to relax. What you're searching for is already on its way, and you're exactly where you need to be. But before we go further, listen to this story. It will help you better understand the wisdom in this material. In a small valley surrounded by hills lived a young woman named Helene, known in her village for her incredible ability to attract whatever she desired. But that power didn't come from luck. It came from something much deeper, an unshakable belief in the power of attraction. Helene had learned from her grandmother that thoughts and emotions are like seeds. When planted in the mind, they blossom into reality. What you think and feel, you attract, her grandmother repeated daily as they worked together in the family orchard. One day, Helene decided she wanted to turn the dry land around her home into a garden full of life. She didn't have the resources or help to do it, but she sat on the ground, closed her eyes, and began to imagine colorful flowers covering the land, juicy fruits hanging from trees, and the gentle murmur of a stream winding through. Every day, Helene took time to visualize her garden in full bloom. She could hear it, feel it, even smell it, as if it already existed. Despite the dry and hard soil, she never lost faith. She began planting seeds, knowing the growth process would take time, but trusting that nature would respond to her vibration. At first, her neighbors watched in disbelief. How can she expect anything to grow in this land? They murmured among themselves. But Helene remained focused on her vision, ignoring the doubts surrounding her. Over time, something incredible happened. Small plants began to sprout, and a stream that had been dry for years started to slowly flow again near her home. The neighbors couldn't believe what they were seeing, but Helene knew it was the result of her clear intention and her faith in the power of manifestation. One morning, the garden was in full bloom. The flowers shone in vibrant colors. The air was filled with sweet fragrances. The trees were heavy with fruit, and the stream flowed with strength and serenity. The surprised villagers came to see her and asked how she had achieved such a wonder. Helene smiled and said, "The power of attraction isn't a magic trick. It's believing with your whole being that what you desire is already yours. It's feeling it, visualizing it, and then letting the universe take care of the rest. If you plant the right seeds in your mind and heart, the garden of your dreams will always bloom." And so Helene's story became a legend. From that day forward, the small valley was never the same again. Its people came to understand that within each of them also lived the power to create their own reality. The moral of this story reflects the power of attraction and manifestation, showing how aligned thoughts, emotions, and actions can bring to life our deepest desires. Before we begin with the first lesson, if you find these videos helpful, I invite you to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss new content. Let's begin. The power of the mind. Have you ever felt like your mind is a runaway carousel spinning out of control while you try to find that one moment of peace? If your answer is yes, welcome to the club. Most of us, caught in the voracity of modern life, have forgotten what it means to simply stop and breathe. But here's the secret. It's in the very moment of stillness, when we let our minds rest, that the true magic of manifestation begins. Isn't it ironic? The more frantically we chase what we desire, the more distant it seems to be. When we talk about mental calm, we don't just mean the feeling of peace after a yoga class or a meditation session, although those are great starting points. I'm talking about a deeper state, almost stoic, where the waves of thoughts and worries settle down and your mind can finally focus. Imagine your mind like a calm lake. On the surface, everything is still and clear, allowing what you truly want to reflect itself with clarity. But if the lake is agitated, you can't even see your own reflection, much less attract what you want into your life. Relaxation isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. When we allow our minds to rest, we begin to connect with our subconscious, the part of us that holds the secrets to our deepest aspirations. Science confirms that when we relax, our body releases endorphins and other chemicals that promote mental clarity. This translates to greater openness to opportunities and desires that once seemed unreachable. So instead of running around trying to find solutions, why not just sit down and take a deep breath? It's like searching all over the house for your car keys, only to find they've been sitting on the dining table the whole time. Now you might be asking, how do I actually do this? How can I relax and manifest what I want? Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to climb a mountain in search of enlightenment. You can start with something as simple as a breathing technique. Take a few minutes each day to inhale deeply through your nose, hold it for a second, and exhale slowly through your mouth. Do this several times and watch your mind begin to calm down. Then imagine what you want. Visualize it in such detail that you can almost touch it. This is where the magic of manifestation begins. When you're in a relaxed state, your conscious mind begins to work to turn those desires into reality. It's like placing your order with the universe while sitting comfortably on your couch. But this doesn't mean you stop taking action. Action is crucial. The key is to act from a place of calm, not chaos. As the Stoics would say, true strength doesn't come from agitation, but from serenity. So before diving into action, remember, first, relax. Then go out and conquer the world. You might be surprised by what the universe has waiting for you. The power of a mind at rest isn't just a beautiful phrase. It's a philosophy that, when applied, can transform your life. Sometimes less is more. So next time you feel overwhelmed, breathe, relax, and observe how your desires begin to take shape. In the end, in a world full of noise, real magic happens in silence. As Epictetus wisely said, in the silence of the mind lies the voice of the heart. 2. Flow and receive. Have you ever noticed how many things we try to control in our lives? From the small details of daily routines to those big plans that seem so perfect in our heads. And what do we get in return? Stress, frustration, and that helpless feeling that everything is slipping through our fingers like water. In this habit of resisting, we forget a fundamental lesson. Sometimes the best thing we can do is relax and let things flow. Stoic philosophy, which might seem distant or abstract at first, teaches us that control is an illusion. Imagine being on a roller coaster. You can scream or grip the seat as tightly as you want, but in the end, the ride will be what it is. Resisting only makes you dizzier. Life is full of unexpected turns, and trying to control everything can cause you to miss the beauty of the journey. So why not try letting go, even just a little? One of the most effective strategies you can adopt is the practice of mindfulness. And no, that doesn't mean you need to sit in lotus position in a dark room. It's about learning to observe without judgment. For example, if you're stuck in traffic, instead of losing your mind over how bad other drivers are, try taking a deep breath. Enjoy the moment. Listen to your favorite song. Admire the view. Yes, instead of getting frustrated, you become an observer of your own life. and that's far more enjoyable. You can also apply the art of letting go to your relationships. Sometimes in trying to control how others behave, we create unnecessary tension. Let me tell you a secret. You can't change anyone, no matter how hard you try. It just doesn't work. So instead of pushing a friend to act the way you want, try accepting them exactly as they are. Invite them to do something, and if they say no, that's okay. Relax. Enjoy your own company and let others flow at their own pace. Learning to let go takes time and practice. It's like learning how to ride a bike. At first it feels scary. You might feel like you're going to fall at any moment, but with each try you get more confident, and eventually you even start enjoying the ride. Life, like riding a bike, is about balance. It's about learning to appreciate the ride instead of obsessing over the destination. The art of non-resistance becomes a powerful tool in your life. When you stop trying to control every detail, you make space for growth and peace. So next time you feel stuck, remember, relax and manifest what you truly desire. As a wise Stoic proverb says, life is like a river. Sometimes you just have to let yourself be carried by the current. Are you ready to start letting go? Life is waiting, and it just might surprise you with something wonderful. 3. Manifest from a state of gratitude. Have you ever stopped to think about the connection between being grateful and getting what you want? It might sound like one of those Sunday morning self-help tips, but the truth is, gratitude and manifestation are like two old friends. They go hand in hand, and together they can transform your life. Picture yourself arriving at a party. If you show up with a grateful and open attitude, you're much more likely to make meaningful connections. But if you show up grumpy and negative, it's like sitting alone in the corner with your salad while everyone else is out dancing. So why not shift the story? Start manifesting from a place of gratitude. The connection between gratitude and manifestation is as clear as spring water. When you genuinely appreciate what you already have, like that sticky note on your fridge or that perfect morning coffee, you open the door to receive more. It's as if life says, look at this person. They really know how to appreciate things. Let's give them even more reasons to be grateful. So the next time you catch yourself stuck in a not enough mindset, try making a list of things that already bring you joy. You might be surprised by how much you already have. And speaking of desires, maybe you're waiting for someone to walk through the door with a bouquet of flowers. Hey, we all have our wishes. But true manifestation is about creating a life that reflects your deepest values. It's like painting a picture. If you start with a foundation of gratitude, the brushstrokes of your dreams will be that much more vibrant. This is where the phrase relax and manifest what you desire truly comes into play. But hold on, how are you supposed to relax in the middle of life's chaos? The answer? By practicing Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that the key to happiness is accepting what you can't control and focusing on what you can. If you face a challenge, instead of getting frustrated, think, this is an opportunity to learn. That mindset not only helps you handle stress better, but it also helps you become more grateful for each experience, good or bad. Here are a few simple strategies to help you manifest from a place of gratitude. First, start a gratitude journal. Every night, write down 3 things you're thankful for. It helps your mind focus on the positive and prepares you to receive even more blessings. Second, try meditation. You don't need to be a yoga guru or have a complex mantra. Just sit quietly and let your thoughts flow. The calm it creates will help you visualize your desires more clearly. Third, surround yourself with people who value gratitude. Good vibes are contagious, and having a support network can be just the boost you need to stay focused on your goals. Manifesting from a place of gratitude isn't just possible, it's essential. The connection between what you appreciate and what you desire is stronger than you think. With this mindset, you become a magnet for opportunities and blessings. So next time life feels like it's turning its back on you, take a moment to look inward and recognize the things you're truly thankful for. With a little practice and Stoic wisdom as your ally, you can ease your expectations and manifest what you desire. As Gandhi once said, when you are grateful for what you have, you open the door to everything that can be. 4. The power of the law of attraction. Have you ever found yourself in that phase of life where it feels like the universe has forgotten about you? You're sitting there staring into your cup of coffee, or tea, I won't assume your preference, wishing things would start flowing a little better. But what if I told you that the key to attracting everything you desire is closer than you think? Yes, I'm talking about the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy, which centers on gratitude. Because let's be honest, how many times have you overlooked the blessings you already have while staring out the window, daydreaming about the life you could be living? Life is like a garden. If all you focus on are the weeds, that is what's missing, you'll likely neglect the flowers you've already grown. Gratitude acts like water and sunlight for those flowers. When you're thankful for what you already have, you don't just beautify your inner garden. You prepare it for new seeds, new opportunities to take root. The connection between gratitude and manifestation is like a dance partnership that never breaks. On one side, feeling grateful lifts your vibration. It puts you in a state that's more open and receptive to what's coming. On the other side, manifestation is like writing a letter to the universe, telling it exactly what you want. But how can you expect the universe to listen if you haven't even thanked it for what it's already given you? Here's a simple trick to get started. Begin each day by listing 3 things you're grateful for. It can be something as simple as a delicious meal your mom made, or the coffee that keeps you going through tough mornings. Anytime you feel discouraged or find yourself longing for something you don't yet have, go back to that list. It's a reminder that your life is already filled with reasons to celebrate. It's like standing at a buffet. If all you do is stare at the options and never actually grab a plate, you'll never enjoy the meal. Now let's be real. Gratitude isn't some magic wand that makes your problems disappear. It's not about ignoring hardships or slapping on a fake smile when everything's falling apart. It's about shifting your focus in a way that allows you to face difficulties with a more open and resilient mindset. Turn challenges into opportunities. Whenever you're facing adversity, ask yourself, what lesson can I learn from this? Instead of getting stuck in frustration, transform the moment into a stepping stone for growth. That's the essence of Stoicism, refusing to let external circumstances define your inner peace or happiness. And in case you're wondering, relax and manifest everything you desire isn't just some social media cliche. There's truth in it. Stress and anxiety are like stones blocking the path to your desires. But when you release the pressure and trust the process, you place yourself in a much better position to receive what life has to offer. Remember, the universe has its own timing. Sometimes what you're wishing for shows up exactly when you least expect it. Gratitude is the bridge between what you already have and what you want to manifest. Don't underestimate the power of a thankful mindset. It's like holding a flashlight in the dark, guiding your steps toward your dreams. So take a breath, give thanks, and watch how the universe begins to work its magic. And keep in mind, every step toward gratitude is a step toward a more fulfilling life. As Nelson Mandela once said, "He who is thankful for little will find that much more is given." Before we move on, I invite you to leave a comment sharing one thing you're grateful for today. That small act might just be your first step toward attracting even more good into your life. 5. The power of mindfulness in abundance. Have you ever stopped to think about the power of your attention? That ability to focus, to be present, to avoid getting swept away by the whirlwind of thoughts that often seem to have a life of their own. In a world where noise and haste are the norm, cultivating mindfulness becomes something of a superpower. And yes, it might sound a bit like a self-help cliche, but hear me out. This superpower might just be the key to manifesting the abundance you've been longing for. Stoic philosophy, with its emphasis on self-discipline and self-control, can be a great place to start. After all, who needs magic when you have the ability to direct your own mind? When you learn to become aware of your thoughts and emotions, you become more open to the opportunities the universe has to offer. Think of it like navigating life as a boat with a captain at the helm, rather than being dragged by the currents of despair and frustration. Sounds a lot more appealing, doesn't it? Now, how do you reach that calm and receptive state that's ideal for manifesting your goals? Here's one simple technique: mindfulness meditation. Picture your mind like a messy room. Sometimes all you need is to open a window and let in some fresh air. Start by finding a quiet space where you can sit without distractions. It doesn't have to be a retreat in a Buddhist monastery, just a cozy spot where you feel at ease. Sit down, rest your hands on your knees, close your eyes, and take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it for a moment, and then exhale slowly through your mouth. Do this a few times. Each breath is an invitation to come back to yourself. Once you find a steady rhythm, begin to visualize your goals. Imagine what you want in vivid detail and feel the emotion of already having it. Let your imagination flow freely. If urgent thoughts pop up, like the impulse to check your phone, gently bring your focus back to your breath. That's what mindfulness is, not silencing your mind completely, but becoming aware of where you're placing your attention. After a few minutes, start with 5 and build from there. Open your eyes and take a moment to notice how you feel. Step out of that meditation with the firm conviction that what you've visualized is already on its way. Practicing this regularly will not only help you relax, but it will also make you more receptive to opportunities that might have passed unnoticed before. It's like tidying up the room of your mind. Suddenly you can see space for new possibilities to enter. So why not start today? Relax and let abundance flow to you. Remember, it's not just about wishing for something. It's about preparing yourself to receive it. Because at the end of the day, if you're always in go mode, how will you even notice when that golden opportunity finally arrives? Keep this thought in mind. Abundance is not a destination. It's a journey that begins with mindfulness. Take a moment and let that sink in. 6. The power of sleep. Have you ever noticed that right before you drift off into deep sleep, your mind transforms into a laboratory of brilliant ideas? It's as if that semi-conscious state is a sacred space where anything becomes possible. Right there in the borderland between wakefulness and sleep is where some of the most powerful manifestations are born. But here's the catch that most of us overlook. For this to work, we need to relax. If you believe life is a game and you're the main character, grab your pillow. It's time to explore the art of dreaming big. Let's go back to that garden metaphor. Your mind is just like a garden. If you care for it, plant positive intentions, and keep the weeds of stress and anxiety out, it will blossom into something beautiful. But if you allow tension and worry to take over, your dreams are likely to be choked out before they can grow. This is exactly what happens when we struggle to relax at the end of the day. Stoic philosophy, with its emphasis on serenity in the face of adversity, can be a powerful ally in this process. So instead of fixating on what you haven't achieved yet, take a deep breath and see sleep as fertile ground where your desires can be planted and nurtured. Let's talk about deep sleep. Did you know that during REM sleep, your brain is more active than when you're awake? It's like being on a mental roller coaster, and it's the perfect time to set powerful intentions. When you go to bed each night thinking about what you desire, you're sending a clear message to the universe. But here's the thing, it's not enough to simply wish. You also need to relax your mind so those intentions can take root. So how about this? Before going to sleep, take a few minutes to meditate or simply breathe deeply. You don't need to be a Zen master to do it. Just close your eyes, feel your body, and let your thoughts drift by. Turn this into a nighttime ritual, maybe with a cup of herbal tea, some soft music, or even by writing your intentions in a journal. That way, as you enter that pre-sleep state, you're building a bridge between your current reality and the life you wish to manifest. And if that doesn't work for you right away, here's another piece of advice. Dream big, but start small. You can visualize a grand vision, but while you do, take small steps each day toward it. For example, if your dream is to write a book, don't wait until you land a publishing deal. Just start writing 1 page a day. That small habit will make your dream feel more attainable, and at the same time, you're preparing the ground for your big manifestation. At the end of the day, the secret to manifesting your desires lies in how you manage the moments before sleep. It's a dance between letting go and allowing your mind to open to possibility. If you allow yourself to release the stress and noise of the day, you give your intentions the space they need to grow wings. Remember, sleep is not just rest, it's a launch pad for your dreams. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote in his Meditations, "In the silence of the night, dreams find their intention." That's where the power to create your reality begins. 7. Mornings of manifestation. Mornings, that magical time of day when you wake up and realize life goes on, even if your plan was to stay under the covers a little longer. But what if I told you that these first few moments of the day are the key to attracting everything you desire? Yes, exactly that. And no, you don't have to be a stoic sipping tea while meditating to benefit. You can create your own morning ritual. Relax, take a deep breath, and let's explore how to manifest your desires from the moment the sun rises. Each morning is like a blank canvas. If you hand it to a child with paint, it'll likely turn into a chaotic mix of colors. But if you, the artist, decide which colors and shapes to use, you can create a masterpiece. This is where your morning routine comes in, your palette, your method of channeling energy and focus. Start the day with activities that help you relax and focus. That doesn't mean waking up at 5 a.m. to do yoga on a mountaintop. No, thank you. You can simply begin with a few deep breaths or a warm cup of coffee while watching the morning light through your window. The secret is intention. By doing this, you're signaling to your mind and the universe that you're ready to receive what you desire. Here are a few practical strategies. 1. Visualization. Close your eyes and imagine what you want to achieve. Visualize every detail, colors, sounds, even sensations. Like a true Stoic reflecting on life, project that image into your mind. Anytime you feel stuck in routine, return to this image. 2. Gratitude. Upon waking, take a moment to think of 3 things you're grateful for. It pulls you out of the fog of morning complaints and reorients your energy to the positive. Gratitude is like a magnet, attracting more good into your life. 3. Movement. No, not a marathon at dawn. Just move in some way, take a short walk, stretch, or even dance around your living room. Movement releases endorphins and burns a few calories. A true win-win. Each morning is a new chance to begin again. If you take time to relax and align yourself with your intentions, you'll see the universe start to move in your favor. Next time you wake up, instead of dragging yourself to the coffee machine like a zombie, try creating your own morning ritual. Who knows? Maybe you'll attract more than you expect. As Brian Tracy said, if you don't start building your dreams today, tomorrow you'll just have more of the same. Visualize and create. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where it feels like the universe is conspiring against you? You try to focus on your goals, but your mind is filled with noise and distractions, as if your brain has decided to tune into a TV channel that only plays commercials. The truth is, in the hustle of daily life, it's easy to lose sight of what we truly want. That's where relaxed visualization comes in. So why not slow down a bit and start manifesting what you really want? Creative visualization, at its core, is like a first-class trip to your dream destination. But unfortunately, we often find ourselves stuck in the economy class of anxiety and stress. Trying to visualize your desires without first relaxing is like trying to inflate a balloon that's tied shut. It just won't work. You've probably heard the phrase, relax and manifest everything you desire. It might sound like something pulled from a dusty self-help book, but believe me, there's truth to it. When you're in a state of deep relaxation, your mind opens up to new possibilities, almost as if a portal to the universe opens right in front of you. How to practice relaxed visualization. Find a quiet space. It could be your favorite corner at home or a nearby park. What matters is stepping away from the chaos, as if you were seeking a refuge from the outside world. Sit comfortably and take a few deep breaths. Close your eyes. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Repeat this a few times until your thoughts begin to settle, like the sea after a storm. Now start imagining your desire. Picture yourself in a movie theater watching a film, but instead of actors, it's you on the screen. Detail every scene. What are you doing? Who are you with? How do you feel? The more vivid your visualization, the more powerful the process becomes. It's like painting your future with an imaginary brush, and the colors are entirely up to you. Stoic philosophy teaches us that some things are within our control and others are not. Visualization isn't a magic button that instantly grants your dreams, but it is a powerful tool that, when paired with action, can take you in the direction of your goals. If you don't see immediate results, don't get discouraged. Remember, even the best chefs need time to prepare a great dish. Final thought. Are you ready to try relaxed visualization? The key is finding that calm state, imagining your future in full detail, and being patient. Life is a journey, not a race. Let go and allow your dreams to manifest gradually, like a fine wine that needs time to mature. As Seneca once said, great manifestations begin with a calm mind and an open heart. 9. The power of conscious breathing. Have you ever found yourself in a sea of thoughts? like your mind is a TV with 100 channels. Yet none of them are interesting. Modern life bombards us with stress and distractions. But what if I told you that you have a powerful tool right under your nose? That's right, we're talking about the magic of conscious breathing. And don't worry, you don't need to sign up for a yoga retreat on top of a mountain. All it takes is to sit down, breathe, and observe how your life can start to take a different direction. Conscious breathing isn't just a pretty concept you hear in motivational talks. It's a real technique that, when used properly, can reduce stress and increase focus. Imagine your mind as a car that's constantly accelerating. If you don't ease off the gas, it's going to crash. That's where conscious breathing comes in. It helps you hit the brakes. With every inhale, you fill your body with oxygen. With every exhale, you release heavy air filled with worries. It's like doing a mental cleanup. Suddenly, you can see the floor and even remember where you left your keys. Now let's talk about the connection between your intentions and your actions. Often our desires seem as distant from reality as stars in the sky. We want things like a better job, deeper relationships, or even a calorie-free pizza. But instead of aligning our actions with those desires, we stay trapped in the "I'll do it tomorrow" cycle. That's where conscious breathing becomes your ally. When you take a moment to breathe deeply, you allow your mind to calm down and your thoughts to organize. The Stoics already spoke of the importance of calm in decision-making. They understood that life is essentially a series of actions aligned with our intentions. So instead of letting the chaos of the world consume you, take a few minutes to breathe. Each inhale brings you closer to your desires. Each exhale clears away the excuses. It's like with every deep breath, you draw a map connecting your dreams to your actions. Your intentions are like seeds. If you don't water them with attention, effort, and a healthy mental environment, they won't grow. Conscious breathing is that essential water. With each inhale, you nurture your intentions. With each exhale, you remove the stones that could suffocate them. With practice, you'll begin to see your intentions bloom and manifest in your life. The magic of conscious breathing isn't just a relaxation trick. It's a way to ensure your actions align with your deepest desires. So next time you feel stress taking over or your intentions fading, remember, it all starts with one simple breath. Give your mind a breath of fresh air and watch chaos turn into clarity. Remember, the mind is like a parachute. It only works when it's open. 10. Silence and connection with the universe. Have you ever stopped to think about the noise that surrounds us? In a world where people seem to compete to be the loudest, the sound of traffic, phone notifications, and random conversations can turn into a constant hum in our heads. It's easy to get lost in this flood of stimuli. But what if I told you that to connect with the universe and manifest what you truly desire, you need to do something simple, and yet so challenging? Be silent. Silence, a concept that gives many people chills, becomes an essential tool for those who want to listen to the universe's signals. And no, I'm not talking about hearing strange voices or seeing otherworldly visions. I'm talking about a practice the Stoics passionately defended: stillness. Stoic philosophy teaches us how to find peace amid chaos, to reflect, and to listen to ourselves. If you take a moment to sit in silence without distractions, you may begin to notice how the universe communicates in ways you never imagined. Now you might be asking yourself, how can I manifest everything I want just by sitting in silence? The answer lies in the power of attention. Imagine your mind is like an old radio. It only tunes into the right station when it's set to the correct frequency. When you allow yourself moments of calm, you tune in and become more receptive to the universe's signals. It's like trying to listen to your favorite song in the middle of a music festival. With all that noise, it's nearly impossible. But when you step away from the chaos, the sound becomes clear. One way to cultivate this silence is to dedicate time to meditation. You don't need to be a Zen master. Just 5 minutes a day can make a difference. Sit in a quiet place, close your eyes, and focus on your breathing. As you inhale and exhale, let the external noise fade. You'll be surprised by the clarity that can emerge from these brief moments of peace. Another option is to go into nature. Nature becomes your best ally in finding silence. A walk through the woods or simply sitting in a park can provide the perfect space to listen. Let the birdsong and the sound of the wind guide your deepest thoughts. Nature has a magical way of connecting our minds to the universe, if we only allow ourselves to enjoy it. Another alternative is to use writing as a way to find peace. Keeping a journal can be a powerful practice. Sometimes all we need is to empty our minds onto paper, without distractions or judgment. Putting your thoughts and desires on paper creates a space where the universe can interact with you. It's a liberating act that allows your inner voice to speak without fear. And in that diary, you may find clarity. So relax. Yes, you read that right. Let go of the pressure to always have everything under control. Life is not a race, even if it often feels like one. Allow yourself to simply be, and you'll see how things begin to align in surprising ways. Next time you feel overwhelmed by life's noise, remember that silence is not just the absence of sound. It is an opportunity to reconnect with yourself and with the universe. In such a noisy world, finding moments of calm may be your best strategy for manifesting everything you desire. Take a deep breath, turn off the internal chaos, and listen. The universe is waiting for you to pay attention. As Epictetus once said, "In silence, the universe whispers its secrets." I encourage you to explore the transformative power of these Stoic secrets in your daily life. Let each day be a new opportunity to get closer to the life you desire. Remember, every new day is a chance to connect with your deepest values and guide your life toward a more full and meaningful existence. Do you know the secret no one tells you about changing your life? It's not about waiting for the planets to align or crossing your fingers tightly. It's about acting as if it were already yours. Yes, exactly like that. Want success? Act like success is already sitting at the table with you. Seeking confidence? Walk around as if you were the most confident person in the world. It might sound absurd, but it makes sense. When you think and act with certainty, your mind stops sabotaging you and begins to align with your goals. In today's video, I'll share 10 valuable lessons on how the Stoics already knew this for centuries. It's not fate holding you back, it's how you face it. Don't miss the final lesson because it will leave you speechless. So stop waiting for someone's permission and start acting as if it were already yours, because life doesn't respond to those who doubt, but to those who choose to live it. Dare yourself. Before we begin, listen to this story that will help you better understand the wisdom in this message. In a quiet valley surrounded by mountains lived Clarice, a young dreamer who spent her days working in a bakery and her nights imagining what it would be like to own her own bookstore. Although she loved books, money and circumstances always seemed to conspire to keep her dream out of reach. One day, Clarice heard a phrase on the radio, "Act as if it were already yours." At first, she thought it was nonsense. But something in those words sparked a fire in her. She decided to give it a try. If she couldn't have a bookstore yet, she could at least act as if she already had one. Every morning before opening the bakery, Clarice would organize a small corner of her home with the few books she owned. She labeled them, invented sections, and wrote reviews to place next to them. She invited friends over and spoke enthusiastically about the new arrivals. Some laughed at her excitement, but others began to ask for recommendations, and even gifted her books for her imaginary bookstore. Word spread throughout the valley. Soon, Clarice began hosting weekend book gatherings in that little space. What started as a game began to look very much like a real bookstore. People came not just for the books, but for the welcoming, inspiring atmosphere Clarice had created. One day, an elderly gentleman, a regular visitor who had become a friend, surprised Clarice with an unexpected offer. He owned an old abandoned building in the village center and wanted to give it to someone who could bring it back to life. "I don't have the money to renovate it," Clarice replied honestly. But the man smiled and said, "You have something even more valuable, vision and determination. I'm sure you'll find a way." Clarice accepted the challenge. With the help of neighbors who donated time, materials, and labor, the old place was transformed into the bookstore she had always dreamed of. Every corner of the space reflected Clarice's passion for books and stories. When she finally opened its doors, not only had she realized her dream, she realized she had already been living it. Clarice learned that sometimes to reach what we truly want, we must first act as if it were already ours. Not to deceive ourselves, but because acting that way starts to attract the right people and opportunities to make that dream real. The moral of the story is, change begins with your attitude. When you act like you're already living your dream, you plant the seeds that will eventually bear fruit. Because when you believe, you create. 1. The power of thought. Have you ever stopped to think how many times you've felt that what you want most is as distant as a star in the sky? But what if I told you that reaching it isn't as complicated as it seems? Sure, I know what you're thinking. Oh, great, I just have to wish for it. But let me tell you a secret. The trick isn't just in wishing. It's in acting as if you've already achieved it. It might sound like something out of a cheap self-help book, but there's something very powerful in that idea. Imagine for a moment that you've already achieved what you desire most. It could be a new job, the perfect relationship, or even a life full of peace and success. Now think, how would you behave if you already had it all? Wouldn't you feel more confident? Wouldn't you make bolder decisions? What I'm suggesting is simple. Act as if this is already your reality. I'm not talking about doing something reckless or spending all your savings on something you don't actually have. I'm talking about beginning to think and act as if your life is already aligned with your desires. Think of the Stoics for a moment. They believe that our emotions are not the result of events themselves, but of the way we interpret them. So if you interpret that you've already reached your goal, your mind will start working to make it real. When you act as if you've already achieved it, your brain goes into reality mode. This not only helps you see opportunities that you previously ignored, it also helps you stay calm and focused when things get tough. Sounds like magic, right? But it's not magic. It's psychology. It's like learning to ride a bike. At first, you're afraid of falling. But if you focus on what you'd do if you already knew how to ride, your mind begins to focus on balance. Suddenly, fear gives way to confidence, because you're acting as if you were already an expert. Yes, you're going to fall a few times, but those falls don't stop you because your eyes are already on the finish line. Now, I'm not saying you should fool yourself or live in a bubble of illusions. I want you to shift your mindset. If your thoughts change, your decisions will too. And if your decisions change, your reality will follow. Acting as if you've already achieved what you want prepares you to receive it when it arrives. It's like telling the universe, I'm ready, this is what I want, I'm already living it. Your mind is more powerful than you think. It can shape your reality if you learn to control it. Visualize what you want. Act as if it's already yours. And don't be surprised when, with time, everything starts to fall into place. It's not about luck. It's not about magic. It's about using what you already have, your mind. Remember, it's not enough to think something will happen. You have to act with that certainty. And when you do, the world responds in ways you could never imagine. As Epictetus said, the mind knows no limits. It's the body that must learn to follow. 3. The secret of self-confidence. Have you ever felt frozen before making an important decision, like doubt wrapped around you like an invisible cloak, holding you back from taking that next step? We've all been there. That nagging sensation of uncertainty, of waiting for things to magically fall into place, or worse, letting fear dictate your actions. But what if I told you that self-confidence doesn't come from knowing all the answers, but from choosing to act as if you already do? Imagine for a moment that you're the lead actor in a play, playing the main character of your own life. If you keep focusing on everything you still lack, or everything that could possibly go wrong, fear will consume you. But what if you started acting like the confident, successful version of yourself? What if your goal was already accomplished and you were already the expert in what you do? That might sound strange, but that mindset is the foundation of genuine self-confidence. Stoic philosophy teaches us something powerful. The only real control we have is over our actions and our attitude in the face of life's challenges. The Stoics didn't wait around for ideal conditions. They worked with what they had. If you want to take control of your life, the secret isn't to wait for perfection. It's to take that first step with the belief that the win is already yours. Acting as if your goal is already achieved doesn't mean being arrogant or delusional. It means stepping into the mindset of someone who leads with clarity and intention. So here's a challenge. Start thinking and acting as if you're already living the success you desire. Write that project. Ask for that promotion. Launch that idea, not as a maybe, but as if it were already part of your reality. It'll push you out of your comfort zone and force you to leave doubt behind. Change your focus. Instead of asking, "Can I do this?" start asking, "How would I act if I had already succeeded?" Change the question, and you'll change the outcome. Confidence is not about having it all figured out. It's about acting with certainty anyway. Take a moment to visualize your goal as if it's already yours. How would you feel? Now let that feeling guide your actions. Don't wait for everything to be perfect, because if you wait until all the puzzle pieces are in place, you'll never move. Start now and adjust along the way. Self-confidence isn't a gift. It's a skill you build. Don't wait for the perfect moment or ideal conditions. Start moving forward as if you already have everything you need. The secret lies in taking action. If you act as if success is already yours, you'll begin to see that reflected in your results. Even when doubt creeps in, don't let it stop you. Do what the Stoics did, work with what you have. Build your confidence step by step with courage and determination. Remember this: success doesn't come because you chase it. It comes because you start acting like you've already found it. 11. The power of your environment. Imagine walking into a room full of chaos. Papers scattered across the floor, people yelling, flashing lights. How would you feel? Probably overwhelmed, stressed, and eager to escape. Now imagine the opposite. You walk into a calm, organized space where the people around you are kind and supportive. The difference is striking. This is the power of your environment, and yes, it has everything to do with Stoic philosophy and the concept of acting as if your desires are already reality. Your environment isn't just the physical space where you live or work. It's made up of the people, influences, conversations, and even objects around you. You may think you're immune to these influences, but eventually your reality will reflect the energy you're surrounded by. If you're constantly around people who drain you, who complain, criticize, or make you feel less than, how can you expect to grow? It's like running a marathon with weights tied to your legs. Everything becomes harder, slower, and more exhausting. On the other hand, when you're surrounded by people who inspire and motivate you, who show you what's possible, you're fueled by a positive energy that propels you forward. That's the essence of acting as if, an idea the Stoics understood deeply. Did you know that some of the most successful people say the secret isn't just in what they do, but in who they choose to keep close? If you want to be a more organized person, create an organized space. Dream of career success? Spend time with people who've already achieved it. It's almost as if the universe is saying, act as if it's already yours, and I'll bring it to you. Start by asking yourself, which people help me grow? If the answer is none, maybe it's time to rethink those relationships. You don't have to cut everyone off, but you should prioritize those who bring something positive to your life. Visualize what you want and shape your environment to reflect that. Want a peaceful space to work? Clear out clutter and distractions. Want to be more productive? Fill your space with objects that remind you of your goals. The Stoics believed deeply in discipline and self-control, but they also understood the impact of environment on the mind. If you want to achieve something, create the space for it. Spend time with people who are already where you want to be, not because it's magic, but because it's logic. Being around success allows you to absorb its energy and mindset. Think of it like water around a fish. If the water is clean, the fish swims easily. If it's polluted, it struggles to survive. If your current reality is a mess, maybe it's time to change the water. Surround yourself with people and things that reflect your aspirations. Act as if it's already yours, and when that mindset is supported by a powerful environment, your life will transform in ways you never imagined. Like my father used to say, the environment you immerse yourself in is the mirror of the person you're becoming.